They are not happy in Pima County. The residents of everyone, 98% from my understanding, want Sheriff Nanos recalled. Because he did a shitty job and he embarrassed them all. That's what they're saying. It's wild. All right, you guys, we're back in Tucson, Arizona, still on the Nancy Guthrie case. Now, I'm going to talk a few minutes about Sheriff Nanos, but then I'm going to get into some really bizarre things that aren't necessarily related directly to Nancy Guthrie, but maybe they are if you're into the whole theory that there's a possibility that the Satanists are involved and that Jeffrey Epstein's involved and the number of 666. Oh my gosh. This, what I'm going to share with you, I'm just saying, can't even make it up. So with that, welcome to 1111 True Crime. Mama D coming at ya. Hope you're well. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us on the live chat, at the replay. Maybe you're in the live, but you don't want to do the chat. Thank you to each and every one of you, because YouTube is just like, we love you. You're doing so good. And I'm like, it's because of you guys. All right, you guys. Also, yeah, static. We got that static again. Okay, let me move the headphones that were, a foot away from the mic. Is the static gone? Let me know. Give me a 1 if static is gone. I try to make it very quiet, but if I put my headphones too close to my microphone, I get this reverb. Okay. You guys got static still? We're staticky. Oh, I feel it. It's so dry in this air. Where's my lotion? We're going to do our deck party today. We missed last week because I was a little bit under the weather. I am feeling fantastic. Got a lot of wonderful things to share with you. And you guys, on the deck party, I've got an actual wheel like Vanna White that goes on the screen. And I put your name in it and we spin it. And you get to watch and see if your name comes up as the grand prize master of all prizes. No static now. Okay. Wow. Them headphones are powerful. It's because of you, says Pugs and Stitches. Hello, lovely. Good to see ya. Carla Burgeon, say hello to a few people. Emerald Jane, hello. This case is a huge maze. It's so frustrating for me, so I dread to think how devastating the Guthrie family are feeling. Okay, let's talk. So, when it comes to Pima County, it's not just Pima County. It's anybody that has been, invested in finding Nancy Guthrie. Which, how in the hell are they going to find Nancy Guthrie in Pima County when they don't even do an official search? I've never in my entire life, out of all the literally 135 cases I've covered, have I ever seen a missing persons case, especially, I'm spitting all over, especially this known, like the whole world is watching, and they do not do a grid search over terrain to see if they can find the victim, alive or not. Why are they not looking? It's just frustrating. That was one big issue, is how are they going to find... If I see one more news program out there that advertises update on the search for Nancy Guthrie, I'm like, false advertisement. There's no search. Oh, I've got the dogs rolling. Oh, I have a delivery. Okay, bear with me if your fur babies are going nuts because my dogs are barking. I am so sorry. They're trained, and when somebody approaches my house, like they are right now, hold on a minute. I will be, let me see. I will be right back. Sorry, guys. Okay, you guys, I'm sorry. It is live. I should have given you something to look at. I'm sorry. I had a delivery I've been waiting on all week for the deck party. It just came. And that's the way it works. All right, so they never look for the woman. They secure the property for like 24 hours, maybe 36, right? Somewhere along that lines. There's blood on the front stoop with a mat, and they do not secure even the mat that people are walking on. They allow people up there right away. Look, there's blood, nothing to see here, go away. They, even when they come back and they secure it, and they don't, and then they do, and then they don't. We have pizza delivery guys walking right past the fence up to the house. I just can't. When it comes to this particular case, they have dropped the ball. Who's they? Well, obviously, the sheriff is the one that's going to be looked at because he's the leader. He's the one that's supposed to be making decisions, but he's at basketball games right away in the beginning when the family is all held up in prayer and hope and oh my gosh, where did I put my lotion? Oh shoot, I took my lotion in the other room. I can't put it on. My Jersey Girl lotion. All right, so Jennifer Swain says Nano, aka Barty Fife, has a real ego problem, and he was reelected as sheriff. Shaking my head. And there's even people that are questioning if something was done a little wrong there, like compromise the voting ballot somehow. There's people suggesting, just rumors, that maybe he ain't supposed to really be sheriff, but something happened there. I don't know. It gets crazy. Susan says I would be scared and real worried if I lived in Pima County. I don't blame you. I mean, you're not wrong. The dude, okay, they come out in the very beginning and they're like, this was targeted on Nancy Guthrie, and so, we're going to focus on this and this alone, but nothing to see here. You guys, no worries. It's all Nancy Guthrie related. All right, and I'm paraphrasing. But then now we're out, what is it now, 6 weeks or better? And we have the sheriff coming out and saying, you better lock your doors and stay safe. Watch your back. Because even though we said this is targeting Nancy, you just never know. And then he flaunts it in our face. And this is what ticked everybody off, including me and most likely you, is to come out and say, we think, we're pretty sure we know why he did it. But we're not going to tell you. Why even flaunt that? You might as well have just walked in a preschool room, eating a lollipop, and been like, I'm not going to tell you where you can get these for free, and no, you can't have any of mine, and eat it in front of the kids. It's rude. It's wrong. A lot of people have had a lot of sleepless nights because we can relate to Nancy Guthrie. She's a mom, an elderly lady, frail, 84 years old, asleep in her bed, ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night, and that's the last we know of Nancy other than a blood trail leaving the home? Are y'all freaking kidding me? So yeah, there's a lot of people looking at Sheriff Nanu Bananu saying, what in the heck? I call him Gilligan. I just do. Late but here. Hi, Eliza. Susan says, worried about the lack of investigation skills. It's terrible. It's terrible. Now, let's get into what they're saying here at News Nation, and they're interviewing a local guy that is actually working very hard to get Sheriff Nanos recalled.
This show has been calling out the incompetence and failed leadership of Pima County Sheriff Christopher Nanos in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. And now it seems that the locals have had enough too. Driven by the anger and frustration of Pima County residents, the sheriff is facing a possible recall that could have him ousted from his current office. The man leading the charge is Republican congressional candidate Daniel Gutierrez, and he joins us now. Sir, thank you so much for coming on the show. So the police in Pima County, yes, of course. Police in Pima County had a unanimous vote of no confidence in Sheriff Nanos last week. And it's also come to light that the sheriff had to resign from the El Paso Police Department after packing up a laundry list of infractions.
What? He had to resign from his other position after he racked up a whole bunch of stupid crap? And now this is almost, if not comparable, to the likes of Brett Payne, who was a rookie cop leading the investigation of the Idaho 4 murders. You feel me? That moment where you're like, well, there's no hope for this case. You guys, this dude, Sheriff Bananas, is either incompetent and doesn't know what he's doing, or is he compromised, or both? Let me know. If you think he could be compromised, go ahead, hit that like button and give me a 1 in chat. If you think he's just incompetent, give me a 2. Do you need a third choice? I mean, I don't think anybody, well, put a 3 if you love Sheriff Nanos and thinks he's doing a good job. But giving me a 1 if you think he's compromised would mean that somehow a little bird has put it in his noggin that it's not in the best interest of maybe the Guthrie family to have one of their own named. You feel me? So we're starting to get our answers. Yes, compromised. Elisa's a 1. Carla's a 1. Jennifer Swain's a 1. Compromised Susan. Okay, incompetent. Not just having the skills at all. Lil P. We got Jennyville, compromised. Smudger, compromised. Deborah Lewis, compromised. Dee Dee. Okay, there's the ones coming. Like a fruit bowl of ones. Like a lot. Princess Bear Poker. Jan Funk. Proud Texas lady. Welcome. A Smith. The list goes on. It just keeps coming. And think about the things that he has pulled with this case. He could have allowed the FBI to come in quite quickly and take over. Obviously, it's above his education to be able to handle this kind of a crime. He's not. He didn't even know that there was ransom letters being out there. He didn't even know a lot of the stuff that the FBI was doing. He just has not had a handle on this case. And this is why I would personally, and this is just my personal opinion, I would give him a 1. Compromised. And the reason is that he had come out without the FBI backing him and clearing family before the evidence was done. Hear me out. They still had Annie Guthrie, the daughter of Nancy, Savannah Guthrie's sister, Annie Guthrie. They still had her car in evidence and were processing it at that time. Now, it has been released back to the family. They say, people are like, creators are like, it looks older. It's covered in dust, fingerprint dust, and other things that they haven't cleaned off. It just looks dull because they've been all over that car. But before Annie Guthrie's car was cleared and released, he was out here saying, the family's clear. They're clear. And then it'd be a next interview, and he'd be like, well, no one's clear. So was he getting pressure? Maybe. I'm just throwing it out there because I speak my mind. Perhaps someone from the Guthrie family was like, you either clear my family or we're not going to cooperate with you anymore. You feel me? Because he was wishy-washy. Hey, little sister, welcome in. Good to see you. Emerald Jane, good to see you. Sophia Shano, Sheriff Nanos is corrupt in your opinion. That's another way to say compromised. Susan Robinson, obviously his behavior is nothing new. The sheriff has been detached. And derelict, in his duties for some time. He always changes up what he says originally. Right, A. Smithy. Right. Jan Funk, hello. Are you going to do a pendulum reading with the maps around Tucson on where Nancy may be located? That's a wonderful suggestion. Maybe we will. Jennifer Swain says, just curious, how can they get rid of him when he's elected? It's called a recall. All right, so let's get back over it. And this dude's going to explain it. They only need a certain amount of signatures, and they have enough people seeking signatures that they would each need to get a little under 400 signatures, and he ain't got a job no more.
What do you think the final straw was for those officers?
The final straw was the false resume. That was the one that caused them to take a vote. To me, I've been watching Nanos for a while because I've been traveling the southern border, and as you know, Pima County borders along the border.
Yes,
and
it does.
For 4 years, drugs have poured across that border by drug runners in backpacks. Mr. Chilton, he's a rancher along that border, has filmed it for 4 years, and he's got images of thousands of drug runners coming across the border, the exact path they take, the exact time of day, and he's given it to law enforcement, and there has been one arrest.
So this is about more than, of course, the Nancy Guthrie case. This is just the straw that broke the camel's back, essentially.
Yeah, and Nancy Guthrie was the final thing, and I've been out to Nancy Guthrie's. It's a shame that crime has risen to this point in our community. And I can't blame just Nanos. We have failed leadership in Pima County.
Indeed. Now here's my stance. It's not just the sheriff. It's the judges. There was a kid, a young man, that just recently struck a very old lady. I won't say very old, a lady, an elderly lady, with their vehicle, and drug her for quite a few feet, like, I don't know, it was like half a block, correct me if I'm wrong, then gets off out of the vehicle, goes over, stands over the woman, sees her, is on camera looking at this poor woman, gets back in their vehicle, and they're gone. They locate the guy. He is on a visiting visa, not even part of USA, visiting visa, and he got 2.5 years. What in the actual gobsmacking, what? So it's not just Sheriff Nanos, but he's a big start, because this would send a signal that you either do your job, elected or not, or you will be recalled. I wish this had happened in the Jake and Rebecca Haro case, to where they were like, we're going to recall you if you don't get this guy and put him in prison for life. Things might have moved a lot faster. But how this recall will take place is a lot of people that are dissatisfied in the Pima County, which that's a large county, need to get their signatures, because every single one that they gather is very valuable to them, to the route of getting him recalled. You feel me? Hey, Jennyville. Glad to see you're still here. Hello, Carolyn Miller. Basically, Ellie takes bribes, payoffs, keeping the flow going, in your opinion. Pugs and Stitches says it's disgusting. Yes. Blessings to you, my wrench. Good to see you. Right, 2.5 years, knowing that he drugged the person. Wow. Jenny Phil says he's doing much better. Her dad is doing much better. That's wonderful. Very good. All right, let's continue.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Who additionally is there who should be held accountable for the crime running rampant, as you say?
There's no law enforcement here. They're not holding anybody accountable. And I've been saying for a long time, I'm not a politician. I'm a painting contractor. I got into this race because I have watched the drugs, the homeless crisis grow. I have watched the crime rise in our community. There's just about every day someone's getting stabbed on the city buses.
All right, I want to talk about this. Now, you guys can come at me all you want. It's still going to be my opinion out there if you disagree with me. You can go ahead and disagree all day long because your opinion matters too. Difference is I have a platform so I can share mine loud and clear. Here's the deal. You have in Arizona Burning Man, right? Am I wrong? Isn't that in Arizona? I should check before I make this comment. Hold on. I'm going to go over here. I can't type. No, it's not in Arizona. Nevada. Well, I'm glad I Googled that. Okay. It's known as Black Rock City, and it's in Nevada. Well, my point is mute. Please do my research before I say the wrong thing. All right. I still have a point to make, even though I was wrong, and that Burning Man is not in Arizona. It is in Nevada. It's still the same concept. You have got out in the public's eye things going on that are unholy. Your fetish balls taking place. It'd be different if these were just places that were having their own benefits. But you have, artwork on bridges that paint the picture of who and what Pima County is, what Tucson is. And then you have Club Congress right in the middle that hosts these fetish balls. You're advertising that this is a dark state so that we can see the stars. Bullshit. All that's doing is driving your crime rate through the roof because nobody is safe in the dark when you have criminals and then you have these elderly people or any vulnerables out there that can't even see their hand in front of their face. Every reporter out there was like, we can't even find our car at night. I believe Dolly Vision was the one that said he was like feeling around and he walked right into his own car because he couldn't see it. It's this very bad stench in the air. That's why Burning Man came to mind, but that's in Nevada. And so, hey, if you were speaking to me, hi, Stacy. Why do you think he came back after so long? You mean Sheriff Nanos? Samantha, I've been researching Nancy Guthrie potential whereabouts, and I've got questions, but nobody to ask. There's nobody in charge of the case, right? That's what it feels like, is that it doesn't make sense to me. But in this entire thing, yes, this case needs some help. Sheriff Nanos has other issues. Sheriff Nanos is being sued for like $1.3 million. Why? Because COVID rules were being disregarded and inmates were being exposed to people infected with COVID. And they were like, And now inmates are suing. And they could be bad people if they're locked up for bad things that are going to get the taxpayers' money. Because basic rules like that couldn't be followed. That's not how we can do this. Yeah. Yes, the environment. Thank you, Lesky. Satanic environment is lending, and the lights out, right? Makes you very vulnerable. Spilled paper, flipper. Change your answer to one now because we're making good points. Thank you, lovely. Carolyn Miller, sounds like they have some underground activity going on. So this whole, if anything, the Nancy Guthrie case has given birth to the awareness of how these sexual predators may be working in groups that are celebrated, such as Scorched and so forth. And you have to ask, are they following through with after parties where all these people are disappearing. This is getting weird. So along the lines of the satanic stuff, I wanted to talk to you a little bit. This is the other stuff that I says it might not be directly related to Nancy, but if you look over here, it could be. If you're on the whole, did Satanists get involved with the Nancy thing? Is Jeffrey Epstein fueling that? Is this revenge? On those thoughts, right? I wanted to get into this. So we're going to get over here. We've got Jeffrey Epstein. Look how this, okay, let me preference all this. Gematria is not necessarily evil or good. It's not bad or good. It's not negative or positive. It's numbers. But if you learn to recognize it and understand how Gematria works, and I got corrected because I say Gematria because I have my own accent, my own language, but Gematria, you can tap in to a lot of understanding when there's predispositioned things that seem bizarre and out of the blue and whoa, that's weird. But then you do the math and you're like, oh, this is a message. This is meant to happen. This is planned by man. It's not just something out of the blue. It's the elites playing mental games with us because they're doing things behind the scenes using Gematria to determine when things happen. And if you don't believe me, this is where I wanted to get into it. So let's start with this. Jeffrey Epstein was born on January 20th, 1953. He died on August 10th, 2019. If you believe he died, I don't. He would have been how old? 66 years old. Who else had something bad happen when they turned 66 years old? Oh, ex-Prince Andrew was 66 years old. You're going to find out, and you could be like, well, that's one thing. Let's work this out. We did this yesterday, but I'm going to take it a lot further. We have this date of August 10th, 2019. If you add the 8 and the 10, which is August 10th, you get this 18, which equals, in this scenario, 666. 3 sixes make 18. If you take the year, 2 plus 1 plus 9 equals 12. Guess how old he was? 66 years old, right? The year is even matching his age. So what was even weirder is I got this message. So this is from Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. And you say, and I did my research to see if this is true. Let me shrink it back down. It goes off the page if I do that. Kelly says, not only was it Randy, quote, 66th birthday, etc., meaning Prince Andrew, ex-Prince Andrew. He was arrested exactly 666 days from when the horses covered in blood ran through London. BQQM. Boom. Bigger picture of the file, in my opinion, she says, is international foreign interference, corruption, collusion, selling, handling of state secrets, election fraud, in which has affected everything in our lives, wide treason, worldwide treason, and crimes against humanity equaling death. So I was like, hold on a minute. Let me even see if this horse thing happened. Now, y'all probably know that it absolutely did. Right here. On April 24th, 2024, 5 military horses from the Household Cavalry bolted through central London covered in blood on April 24th, 2024, after being spooked by construction noises in Belgravia. The incident occurred around 8:30 a.m. during the morning rush hour, injuring several people and horses as they ran for miles near Buckingham Palace, the Strand, and the Tower Bridge. All right. Interesting. Vita and Trojan were 2 of the 5 horses' names. Okay. So Kelly's right that there were horses. So then I was like, okay, but was it 666 days? So over here, I entered the date 4/24/2024. I put the end date for counting, February 19th, 2026. This is the date of ex-Prince Andrew's birthday and the day he was arrested. And look at that. The date that the wild horses, well, they're not wild, but the horses ran wild, covered in blood, was 666 days. Now, I could go into a lot about the red horse in Revelations and how that signifies that there is a coming of very bad war, pestilence, and so forth. Isn't that interesting? 666 days, Andrew gets arrested, and then we go to war. Okay? All right. So, obviously, this person knows their stuff that said that, because the result is 666 days exactly between these two dates. Now, let's take it a step further. Not only was Jeffrey Epstein 66 years old when allegedly he took himself out, as I said, ex-Prince Andrew was 66 years old. So we have this right here. And it was his 66th birthday. Let's dig a little deeper. So this is where I really want you to pay attention here. I took the date April 24, 2024. I wrote it here. 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. And 2 plus 4 is 6. Are you hearing me? Are you all picking up? Well, crap, my birthday is 666. How's your birthday 666? I mean, June 6th, but what were you born in 1906? That's not even a 6. So I don't understand how you could have a birthday that's a 6. Maybe, I don't know. Epstein has so many influential clients, presidents, foreign dignitaries, and billionaires that created his unaliving. In my opinion, hell no, he's still alive. Aw, thank you, Spilled Paint Furniture Flipper. I love you too. I love you very, very much. Thank you. That is so kind. Hey, House of Vim, how are you? Good to see you. Oh yeah, you're hearing me. Okay, because it's going to get weirder. So let's go back up here. First of all, the date adds up to 66666 and 66 years old for the whole Jeffrey Epstein checking out. Right? So the date he left off this planet, allegedly, which I don't buy, was 66666, and he was 66 years old. I mean, to tell you, that's just crazy. Then we get into this, and we have ex-Prince Andrew, who was 66 years old. We go back to April 24th, 2024, when those horses, all bloody horses, ran over to Buckingham Palace. That would have been 666 days to the date that ex-Prince Andrew is arrested on his 66th birthday. When we do the math of the date of those horses all bloody, that date is also 666. Now let's get into this. This is it, y'all. This is just wild. I went and got Ghislaine Maxwell's birthday. Y'all, this horrible woman was born, I kid you not, on Christmas Day. She was born on December 25th, 1961. On December 25th, Christmas Day, Ghislaine Maxwell was born. Can't even make it up. Mama, you weren't wrong. Ignite holds a local mini Burning Man in Phoenix. I want to talk to you about that whole Burning Man thing. Why is it not called man burning something? Right? In other words, you're burning something. No. It's like, think about the way it actually, think of the words being said. Like if somebody said to the person going to Burning Man, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm going to go burn something. What you going to burn? Man, burning man. Human sacrifice? Cremation? Yes, it's said to be all about art and expression of the human soul and blah, blah, blah. But really, it sounds like a ritualistic cremation. Do people die? Yes, they do. People disappear at Burning Man, never to be heard from again. So, that's wild. Let's get back over to Elaine, all right? Or Ghislaine. Can I call her Jizzy? All right, so Jizzy. Let's start off with December. Let me get my drawing stick. Let's start off with December. 12 is 2 6s right there, right? Then let's add the date up with the years. So we have the month is 6/6. Then we have 25, so 2 plus 5, and then the year, 1961. 2 plus 5 plus 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 7. Let's add it. 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 1 is 8, plus 9 is 17, plus 6 is, how do I do that? Did I do this wrong? I might have added this wrong. I was working late at night. Let's see, 7, 8, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All right, I did it right. So it equals 24. 2 plus 4 we've already established is 6. And so there you got this 6, 6, 6, right? It just, you can't even make it up. And so a lot of the information is out there. But we're programmed that something, an inanimate object such as numbers, that's not good, it's not bad. Numbers are not good, numbers are not bad. Numbers are part of the universe. They're just neutral. Gematria is not bad, it is not good. It is the intent with what you use it. My intent is to bring awareness to you that if you learn things like Gematria, when you see it, you'll start to recognize it. Because if the bad guys have a foot up, where they have a secret language, where, you know, two pedos stepping in an elevator full of people, and they can do a couple little gestures and say, hey, how you doing? And they have a secret language nobody else knows about, you're vulnerable. But once the hidden languages come to light, you can see that they're using it with the intent to do very bad things. So you might have actually thought, wow, that's just wild, them horses full of blood ran through a crowd of people and injured people. But if you look back on this, Satan really wants bad to push the timeline ahead. They want their own race of people. And that's the excuse they're using to get rid of all the other people that, I mean, if you study what Jeffrey Epstein believed, it's exactly the same as Hitler. Stamp it out. Stamp it out. Hitler's done. Just wait a few years, right? Here comes Jeffrey. Same damn belief of creating this hybrid world full of very selective hybrid babies, right? Let's go to this. Let's go. Hitler death date. All right, look at this. Let me see. Website. There it is. Okay, I've got it. And close this off. Well, why don't I have it? Oh, hold on. There you go. So we have April 30th, 1945. All right, let's go over here. Remember, January 20th, 1953 is Jeffrey Epstein. So look, it could be reincarnation of Hitler with the same life agenda. We have April 30th, 1945. We have January 20th, 1953. We're talking 8 years less than. Yeah. We're talking 7 and some odd years later, Jeffrey's born. But he has the same aspirations, the same satanic belief, the same goal, the same atlas, the Aryan blood, the blue-eyed, blonde-haired kids, this racist, this high, Jeffrey didn't want to have anything to do with somebody that wasn't white, like a cracker, right? Because he's a racist. This is how I feel. Lesky Walker says, I think their sick club event, the cult tells what they do in their codes and sign. That's how they justify doing what the evil doers, because in their minds, they are all telling and warning us. They're not warning us. They're flaunting it to us. They think that we are sheep and that we are too stupid, that they are so smart because they're superior to us and we are the peasants. And so therefore, we'll just think it's just horses that got injured that are covered in blood, just randomly running around. Really, it's a ritual, a complete ritual. Because if you go look up, and I said, well, I'm going to go there, but I'm going to go there. Okay. Blood covered horse. Let's just look it up. Let's put Revelation. Okay, this is their self-fulfilling prophecies that they're doing. Instead, okay, so it's not a horse covered in blood in the Bible. It's actually, it talks about a rider on a white horse wearing a robe dipped in blood. And the blood flows from the winepress as high as horses' bridles. And it talks about, this is the return of King of Kings and Lord of Lords. See, the Antichrist people think that this is the return of their Christ. And they have their own Christ, the Antichrist. He's depicting riding a white horse. He wears a robe that has been dipped in blood. There's also this whole thing about the red horse, too. Let's just go red horse. The red horse in Revelation 6, 3 and 4 is the second of 4 horsemen of an apocalypse representing war, bloodshed, and the removal of peace from the earth. What do they want? The Satanists want that removal of peace. They want war. They want bloodshed. And it says, a rider is granted a great sword to incite violent conflict, causing humanity to slay one another. This symbol signifies widespread destruction and divine judgment. So it all ties together because the elites are timing things based on astrology and Gematria. So if you were wise enough to realize and broaden your mind, open your mind, that numbers aren't bad, Gematria is not bad, it's just a language that you can tap into. You can start predicting the future, and believe me, it's not because you're psychic, it's because the elites are doing rituals in front of our faces and trying to make it seem normal to us. That way, if they dull our mind, if they normalize crime, if they normalize this weird cannibalism. I mean, Jeffrey's chef has a restaurant named Cannibal, the Cannibal. And we're all like, well, it doesn't mean cannibal. Bullshit. It does, in my opinion. This is literally, it's all out there, but you have to pay attention. Because it's all with the intent that you use something. Now, if you use numbers, such as 1111, and it's within good intent, that you're aligning with God, that you're aligning with Jesus, that you're aligning with your higher self, and trying to do right on this planet, and do your life path, then I don't think it's wrong, obviously. But if you're doing stuff where you're like 1111 and it's representing red rum, kidnapping or something bad, all of a sudden it's bad because it's not the numbers themselves. They literally are just there. They're a neutral source. So it's not Gematria is bad or good. It's the intent with which it's practiced in. But if you learn it, if you start becoming aware of the things that these elites are using to program our world, you will start catching on to it and you will not be fooled like a sheep. So you have to learn what they're doing here if you want to stay on it and understand it. Doesn't mean you're practicing anything. Otter says you don't have to be an expert on Gematria. I know enough that it can be bamboozled. I can't be bamboozled. Exactly. Yes. Jennifer Swain says, yes, we fight with the armor of God, who gives us the highest discernment. We have this brain in our head that we can use, but we do not need to be blindsided anymore. We don't have to worry about other people saying, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Okay, I bought myself a huge warehouse full of aluminum foil. I'm passing it out. Who gives a crap what they think? They're doing that to undermine, like a narcissist would do, of calling us crazy, even though we're right on the money. And the more trolls we trigger, the more we're striking the nerve, because we're not as dumb as they would like us to believe. Like, you look back and you look at Ellen DeGeneres. And that's how I say her name, Degenerate. She had this set that represented the temple, the same temple that Jeffrey Epstein put on his property for Osiris or whatever his temple was. But we have to be able to understand that there is a true connection to God. There is power in God. Our God, the ones that worship God, Jehovah, that know Jesus Christ is your Savior and accept Him as such, and that walk in servitude of the good life, we are smart and we are powerful. We can walk through a room full of demons and they cannot touch us. And that is what they are so scared about, these elites, is that if we know our power, that we can wipe them off like a fly on rice. And so they don't want us to get wise. And so we are programmed to be dumb, to be the sheep. But we don't have to be the sheep. We can get educated. We can learn. We can understand things and catch things like I did over here. Let me get back over to this. I don't even know where it went. There it is. With this whole concept that this matters, right? These horses being released on 4/24/2024 is obviously a 666 move. And it's signifying that they are trying to unrest. They're not giving you a warning. A warning is something like, kindly, you need to prepare. You've got your warning. That's not what they're doing. That is a ritual that you are witnessing. So really, it's about uncovering the truth. That's right. Anything can be taken to a dark place. I choose the light. I trust my gut. I trust the Father, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. A lot of the times people look at certain churches. Maybe you're part of a church. I don't know. But there are churches that teach you to beg for mercy the rest of your life, but you never get an answer. Just stay on your knees and beg. That is not what Jesus taught us. Ask and you shall receive. There, it's done. You asked, Lord Jesus, I need food in my cupboard, please. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Move along, people, because guess what? Your faith is in your testimony, is in your prayer. And if we become wise and start looking at these elites for what they are, which is that they are bloodsuckers. Legitimately, they are leeches trying to get our precious energies. Our future is our children. They don't value any of that because we're beneath them, right? No, it's the reverse. We're about to flip this on its top. And they're going to understand that we're the ones on top. Jesus has already paid for our sins. And so we don't have the worries. We don't have the problems that they have. And if they think eating babies is making them younger and going to give them immortality, why the hell did they look so old and their hands are disgusting and they're all thin and like the life force is being sucked out of them and they're aging horrifically? Has anybody looked at some of these pictures of Ellen DeGenerate? She looks 180 years old in a matter of a very short, limited time. If what they were doing was going to really work, wouldn't they have immortality? But they don't. Because God does not bless them. So, Samantha says, I'm new to your channel. I'm just giving it all out there, and I'm sure a lot of people are like, I didn't tune in for a religious lesson, and that's fine too. But there are times when we have to just get down in there and say, the truth of the matter is, our intelligence is being put to the test here, and it's time to break that programming of thinking that inanimate objects such as numbers or colors mean any type of good or bad. That has nothing to do with it. It's the intent. And that's that. You're right, Mama D. Thank you. Amen. So true. They want to steal the souls of the young, especially. Yes. And the elderly that are aligned with Christ. They're jealous. People trying to destiny swap. Watch out for energy vampires. They cannot do anything against you because you are a free will unless you give them permission. That's where a lot of these, and I'm just going to talk about the adult victims. Go after fame, go after fortune, but you're going to pay a price. And what are you willing to sell? Oh, I thought I was going to get a modeling job, so I took my top off. I'm not trying to blame the victims. I'm saying make better choices. Don't bitch when you walk into the devil's house and then the rent comes due. And I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for that. But the victims are the children and the people that were taken against their will. Those are victims. The rest of us, we have choices, right? And there's a path that you can take that's straight up to fame and fortune. But how costly is it? It's not worth my soul. My soul is owned already, given freely to Jesus. How about you? Maybe Jesus wanted me to have a talk with you today. Claire Lindstead, help. It needs a shipping miracle. Oh, you guys with your shipping. Where is that poor lady? I know. Where is Nancy? I believe she was a sacrifice. I really do. I really do. I think Nancy is burnt embers because of the scorched and the burning love and the blowing on embers. You feel me? And now they have her house and it can't be sold. It's in limbo, but they get to have all the rewards of living in her house. I mean, something weird there. Samantha says, have you found anything else out on Nancy Guthrie kidnapping? No, sweetheart, I haven't. In it, Divine says, I honestly believe they look like they do is because they sold their soul to the devil. Yeah. Claire says, I must admit, I look for updates every morning, dinner, and night. Thank you, lovely. Stay on it for Nancy. Michelle says they have to get rid of a lot of signatures. They have to get a lot of signatures in a relatively short amount of time. I hear the area has never been successful doing this. I hope this will be the first successful recall petition. Lesky says, many selling soul to Satan for wealth and fame. It's not going to be worth it. We're here on this life, but for a breath. A very short breath of eternity. So. Otter says, I thought Savannah's contract was up. Interesting. Claire says, I just can't with those people. I started researching and I had to stop. It made me hate humanity. It's hard. It's hard. And so we're going to have to lighten the mood up. I just needed to get this out there. I know it's not going to be the favorite video of everybody. But for those of you that are ready to empower yourself, this video is perfect to remind you that you are Christ's army, Jesus Christ's army. And we're here to fight the good fight. And with that, why would we not take our swords with us? Swords are words. Swords are battle, are our words. And speaking up and educating and identifying where the dark is at. And if we shine the light on it, Jesus' light onto it, it becomes known. And they can't do the secrets and the bad things anymore. So we've got to keep fighting. All right, my lovely. And that's what I mean. Oh, my account ends with 666. It's all with the intent. It doesn't matter. It's with the intent. If you were to have been like, I'm going to name my account 666 and it's going to be for this nefarious reason, then it's bad. You feel me? All right. Okay, you guys, with all the talk of everything that's been going on, I just wanted to share y'all that. I think it's very strange that it was 666 days to the day from the time that the bloody horses ran through, even went through Buckingham Palace. And then 666 days later, Andrew is arrested. Ex-Prince Andrew. He was 66 years old. Jeffrey Epstein was 66 years old. And Jizzy was born on Christmas Day. And if you do the numbers, it's 666. Can't even make that crap up. Can't even make it up. All right, my lovely. That's right, Jennifer Swain. We're on to our deck party. And I have a real Vanna wheel, a Vanna White wheel to spin for the winners. I can't wait. There'll be about a 5-minute little reprieve before we start the deck party, just so I can switch things up and say a little prayer to clear my energy, of course. And I will see you again very, very soon. Love you guys. To the moon and back.
From the dust I was born, to the dirt I shall return. When my eyes are closed, in the shadows, my enemies will think they won, but I'm here to stay. Destiny will overcome. No, I am not afraid. Like a phoenix in the night, my soul will rise. From the darkness to the light, I feel alive. I'm a fire burning bright. I'll never die. Like